Brodes Media.
I am pissed off and disgusted with the president of baseball ops, Dave Dombrowski. I never thought in a million years he would put us through this crap. But what he had to say with the WIP morning show was so disrespectful to the fan base, so disrespectful to the hard-paying customers, the people who put the money in the pockets of John Middleton. He's out here acting as if we're dumb. He's acting as if we don't see through the BS. Now, part of this show, I'm trying to figure out if I'm overreacting or not, but I don't think I am. I've spent countless hours doing Phillies positivity shows on the radio. And not because I felt positive, but I was trying to get there. So, I would say, here's the phone number. Tell me why this team is going to be good. Because I'm tired of feeling this way. I don't want to head into the year with this nasty taste in my mouth. When you wake up, you haven't brushed your teeth yet, and you go, ew! I don't want to feel that way heading into this season. So tell me why they're good. And you'd get the rotation is strong. You added Luzardo. If they can get hot at the right time. Well, that's a big if. They haven't been able to. You're starting to sound like Dave. Hey, the Dodgers lost a few years ago. Now look at them. Come on, Dave. Really? You mean the team that's willing to sign every Japanese pitcher? You mean the team that actually has superstars who are willing to change positions for what's best for the team? The squad that's always adding 24/7 nonstop, always getting better. Look at this outfield. This outfield is hot garbage. Why don't we listen to Dave Dombrowski? Here's Dave Dombrowski.
And sometimes it's just...
I wanted to actually tease you on what it was. Here's Dave Dombrowski talking about the plate discipline last year in the playoffs.
And sometimes it's just you're hot at that particular moment. Guys are swinging the bat at that particular time, and other times there's not. And I mean, you can talk about plate discipline, and I know that everybody talks that about, and you always try to increase that and be a little bit better. But the reality is, it was interesting last year. We went into it at the time, and in the playoffs, our plate discipline was in the middle of the pack versus playoff clubs.
Come on, man. That's insane. The more and more I hear it, it actually ticks me off. It really does. Ticks me off more. We watch the games. Didn't we all sit there and watch that vomit of the plate discipline? Oh, it's not that bad. We're just doing what everybody else does. First off, acting as if being in middle of the league is good. Being middle of the league is not good enough, right? Let's start there. It wasn't good enough, obviously. But if you're focusing on being in the middle of the pack, then you suck. Then you're not winning a championship. Then you're not doing good enough. Then you have to go back to the drawing board. Then why is the hitting coach still here? Because middle of the pack, that means you're average. That means you're satisfied with being average. And they brought back the entire same staff, the same coaching staff. That's problem number one. Problem number two, come on, dude. I'll never forget watching that Dodgers-Mets series in the NLCS right after the Phillies-Mets in the DS. And the broadcast couldn't believe their eyes, seeing the difference between the way the Dodgers weren't chasing pitches and then staring at what happened with Nick, what happened with Trey, what happened with all these guys. Dodgers are walking. Dodgers are getting on base. Dodgers are making the Mets pitching staff work. Guys, Sean Manaea is pitching 7 strong against you. Sean Manaea? Who the fuck is Sean Manaea? I know who he is, but I'm saying this isn't Zach Wheeler. This isn't Verlander in his prime. Sean Manaea? What are we doing? And the way he said, I know people are talking about plate discipline, as if it's being mocked, as if we're wrong to do so, as if that's not where we should focus our attention. Dave, if you're not focusing your organizational philosophy around the lack of discipline, then we're toast before the season even begins. And that's the honest truth. So I'm starting to get fed up. All those positivity shows that I tried, it's kind of out the window. And this makes me feel worse. This feels like an extension of those god-awful press conferences at the end of the year when their season ended. And the more and more I'm starting to think about what's going on here, you know, Dave was also asked about potentially trying to trade Bohm and potentially trying to make a move this offseason that's a bigger splash. Actually, I believe the question was raised like this from Joe DeCamera, who I thought asked the very good questions. It was, are you surprised that you're essentially running back a very similar everyday player roster outside of Max Kepler? And he said, well, we were open-minded. And when you're open-minded, phone calls are made and things are discussed, but we never really got something that was offered to us that we felt acceptable. Blah, 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 blah. Then started going through the GM speak. Here's where I'm aggravated by this, though. Dave. Dave. I think he realized he couldn't get rid of Bohm. He realized he tried to make big moves and couldn't make it happen. He's stuck with the Nick Castellanos contract. He's stuck with some things. So the only way, now that you backed yourself into a corner with an awful Trea Turner contract, is you have to go heavy with the starting rotation and pray that can counterbalance the flaws within your lineup. Now, I don't know if the answer is yes or no. Luzardo's allowing 3 bombs and 3 pitches in spring training. It's just spring training. They're working on things, blah, blah, blah. I heard it all. But this is such a terrible feeling. This isn't fun. This isn't fun for me. I had a couple DMs when I was on the air talking about this, and it's like, come on, man, you can't really feel this way, right? Look at what this team did last year. They won 90-plus games. They won the division. You can't honestly feel this way, can you? Yes. Yes. How can I not? Do you hear the tone of the leaders? Trea Turner also hasn't had a hit yet. This is the guy where, honestly, the season almost comes down to what version of Trea Turner we get. Just like Bohm's emotions weighs down on the team when he's all pouting, same applies to Trea. This team goes the way Trea goes because the expectations were high, $300 million man, superstar shortstop. Truth is, he hasn't lived up to those expectations a lick. And it drains this team. And this guy can't even get a hit in spring training. And talking more about Trea, this is super quick. I may play it twice so you can have time to absorb it. It's 6 seconds long. But it speaks to the inability to adjust, the inability to actually focus on improving. This is the same guy that said he didn't watch film this offseason late in the playoffs. He didn't go back to any of those at-bats. He didn't look at any of the things that were awful from his game. He didn't look at it to get better. This is the same guy. I'm going to play it twice. This is Trea on what went wrong last year and potentially moving to leadoff, but his approach at the plate. Here's Trea.
Last couple of years, I'm trying to, drive the ball a little bit more. And not that I won't do that if I do lead off, but
again,
last couple of years, I'm trying to, drive the ball a little bit more. And not that I won't do that if I do lead off, but
okay. What went wrong over the last 3 years? I've been trying to drive the ball a little bit too much. Oh, by the way, if I lead off, I'm still going to try and drive the ball. That's how I take that. That's how I interpret it. To be very clear, I'm acknowledging this, that the Phillies currently, they're that person that you can't stand and everything they say just pisses you off. Even if it's not that terrible, and I'm not saying this isn't that terrible. I think it is that terrible. But we all have that one person in their life, that one person at work, that one person you see at the gym, whatever it is. Their presence makes your skin crawl. Their presence just bothers you because you think they're absolutely dumb. Okay? Now, I don't think Trea's absolutely dumb. I'm not saying that. I'm just using that personal experience that we can all relate to as an example. That's the Phillies organization for me right now. Every little thing they do, it sets a fire off in my gut. I was trying to drive the ball too much. I'm still going to try and drive the ball, though. Maybe you should go watch film. I'm just spitballing.